So we're going to start with unleashing the power of video, what we're calling a visual revolution. The rise of video as a potent means of communication is a testament to our inherent preference for visual content. As natural visual learners, we are indeed captivated by the power of moving images to educate, entertain, and inspire us. Video has emerged as a compelling storyteller, a relationship builder, and a message broadcaster, weaving narratives that resonate with audiences globally. Indeed, the appeal of video is so pervasive that it's expected to account for more than 82% of all consumer internet traffic by 2022, which is from a study by Cisco. But what ignites this affinity for video? The answers lie in its humanistic, engaging, and versatile nature. Video strikes a chord with the human spirit. It allows us to witness the expressions, hear the tones, and perceive the emotions of people, thereby fostering a deeper connection and enduring memory of their narrative. Its engrossing nature is really unquestionable. Akin to a moth drawn to a flame, our eyes find it hard to ignore the dynamism of moving visuals. Research indicates that a video is more likely to be consumed in its entirety compared to a text or blog post. Moreover, video's versatility is really its superpower. If it's education, entertainment, marketing, or branding, video is a jack of all trades, offering immense value for businesses and organizations across the spectrum. I want to move now and talk about the influence of science fiction, particularly science fiction cinema, and how it's affected video and AI. Historically, science fiction cinema has brilliantly encapsulated the potency of video. Films like Fritz Lang's 1927 Metropolis used video to craft a mesmerizing, futuristic world laden with technology perils. Wilcox's film The Forbidden Planet leveraged video to facilitate intergalactic communication and extraterrestrial contact. Modern cinema continues this exploration with films like The Matrix, Minority Report, and Black Mirror, delving into artificial intelligence, surveillance, and the concepts of reality through video. The video tech revolution is really just around the corner. I want to talk a bit about how video and social media are coming together and the impact of video on social media. Social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, they're at the forefront of the video revolution. They democratize content creation and sharing, enabling anyone to weave and broadcast their stories to a global audience. Social media is not just a platform for entertainment, it's also a tool for social activism, helping to amplify voices, mobilize protests, and drive movements for change. This is just one of the powers of video, and it seems is only just beginning to unfold. So the static part of this video is really that it can't grow, it can't take on new information. It's linear. It's part of the narrative tradition of humankind, and it's based on this idea that someone in a position can talk to another person and deliver some information. We are starting to see this change of static video, and we're starting to see it start to break out from these borders, which is really like Teams. Teams is a great example of how it has bridged that, where we can have a two-way dialogue or many people talking at once. I'm sure you guys have all been on those calls where 10 different people are talking at once and somebody's got something that's going on. Those are where I see things going, and it's primarily around those changes of streaming technologies, the ability to very rapid and very efficient video compression, so that we're able to send these video files over the cables that connect the world. So I'd like to take a moment and really just highlight the differences between virtual reality, mixed reality, and augmented reality, I think it's important to go into that distinction and a little bit of the language around those things so that you have an understanding. And you may already know all of this, so yeah, apologies if this is something that you've already heard or experienced. But virtual reality is generally considered to be a fully enclosed and cut off virtual space, so fully digital, and that can be a CG rendered environment, something that's happening around you, all computer graphics, or it can be a filmed environment that's re-rendered back to you. That's sometimes called virtual reality. That's 360 degree video. There's different versions of what those look like. So again, the core point of virtual reality is that it cuts you off completely from your physical world around you and gives you a new reality, so a fully enclosed virtual space. The term augmented reality is really where you use the real world as a baseline and then you add digital elements onto that. So there's I think a good example of that is obviously Pokemon Go. Everybody heard about it or saw people playing it. Pokemon Go allowed you to see digital characters moving around in the real world using your phone as that window. So your phone is the window that we were discussing earlier. Your phone is allowing you to see these digital characters overlaid onto the world around you, so you can move your phone around and see them to the side or in front of you, but there's no way that you're really gonna be able to go into that unless you have a VR headset or an AR headset. So augmented reality meaning that layers on that augmentation of the world around you. And then there's another one, which is mixed reality, which is kind of a catch-all phrase. And sometimes people call it XR, sometimes people call it merged reality. There's different versions of what MR really means, but at the core of it is it's kind of combining augmented reality with interaction. So it's that idea that if you have a Pokemon Go character that you can see in front of you inside of a augmented reality headset, that things that you like, if you throw a ball, like the Pokemon character is going to recognize that there's a ball or something moving around in the environment and respond to that. Vice versa, that it's if you have something that you're doing or saying, that a digital character can respond and you can interact and respond to it as well. So again, that's mixed reality, and I think that's generally where I see things heavily leaning towards. The reason being is you don't have to build the world around you. You don't have to artificially generate the world around you, including the floor and the walls. These are important aspects, obviously, whenever you're interacting in a virtual environment. So if you can start with the baseline of the world around us and then add on tools on top of that, you've already got a great starting point. So this is actually not showing up very clearly, but this is a mixed reality headset, augmented reality kind of headset. This is the Quest Pro, which right now is kind of higher end on the higher quality. What it can do is, and the reason I show you is because I think it's important to show that whenever you're looking through this, you don't see out, you're seeing what these cameras are picking up. And so the cameras are projecting on the inside and showing what you're looking at, which is around you. So this headset can do a fully virtual view where it cuts you off from the world and you're only dealing with what's artificially rendered, or it can do a augmented reality view and show you things that are happening actually around you. for those very clear reasons, the things that are happening around you are important to humans and to our day-to-day. If we're going to wear these outside of our homes, or if we're going to wear them in a social environment, we can't be cut off from other people who may be wearing these or not. We need to know what's going on around us. We can't cross the street with a VR headset on. But as augmented reality and mixed reality become more ubiquitous and become kind of a broader use case, we're going to start to see other aspects of these in the way they come out. So I want to talk a little bit about now these barriers that really get in the way of what I see as true immersion. And people are looking for connections and new experiences globally, always. That's part of the human energy that we have, which we want to connect with other people. We want to connect with ideas like this one. We want to have a new experience. We want to visit a new place. We want to taste a new food. That's part of who we are. And culturally, this takes the form of entertainment that primarily breaks down into two forms that we see really strongly. There's the passive and screen-based media. This is what we've been talking about, and this is what people are used to. And then there's video games. Video games are really a much newer medium than film or video, and video games engage the user as an agent and in different forms. And so we take agency in the example of like a fighting video game. We become that fighter, and that fighter embodies us in the digital world. It acts as our avatar, and it does something on our behalf, either through pushing buttons or commanding it through however keyboard, or some games are now even being used by voice. So this core difference between what is happening on passive content, which is video, and this amazing tradition of cinema that we have, mixed over with this aspects of engagement, we're starting to see some big changes, and those changes, we get to see, right now, this birth of what's going on with VR. VR, virtual reality, does have some issues. It is currently it's fragmented. It has no brand identity, and it's split between kind of understanding the concept where everyone wants it, and where people can see where it's going, versus the reality of where it is. I think if any of you have tried any virtual reality headsets, you probably know that the promise of it is much more exciting than the reality, and definitely the promise is much less nauseating than the reality. So if we talk a little bit about this lack of content and user base, I think we can start to go into these core parts of the way that this begins to overlap with artificial intelligence and these large language models that are really just coming onto the scene inside of the discussions around virtual reality. So I want to talk a little bit about a few things, but one of them is really it's based on the premise that we understand generative artificial intelligence at the moment. It's a rapidly evolving space, so this talk that I'm giving now is going to be out of date probably in a few weeks. Really just based on the incredible leaps and jumps that this area is going through right now. So you guys have heard of ChatGPT, you've heard of Midjourney, probably DALL-E. There's a number of different language and image generation models that are out there. There's also video generation tools. So ChatGPT, basically, I think a good way to describe it, and I've heard this analogy, I think it works quite well, is as an infinitely large Excel file that has all of the different words spread into it, that in different phrases and in the order that they're put into, contextually. But what we do when we generate something with ChatGPT is we generate a thread through that existing words or existing ideas that is new. And some of those paths, are great, and some of them are terrible. Just like anybody who's walked a different path through the forest knows, some paths are easier and make more sense, and some paths are awful and they'll get you to a dead end. So that's what we're seeing on the generative language side. The generative image side has some also contentious issues, just like anything else in a new field like this. The generative image side is able to generate images based on right now it's primarily text input or image input to create a new image that looks like a number of different things, and hopefully you're seeing some examples of those right now.